Korea Zinc just dropped $85.2 million into TMC The Metals Company, the world's largest zinc smelter, putting serious money behind deep-sea mining, and TMC stock just hit a 4-year high. Most people are completely missing what's actually happening. This isn't just about one big investment. This is about a complete shift in how the U.S. government approaches critical minerals, and TMC is sitting right in the middle of what could be the biggest resource play of the decade. This deal is nuts when you actually look at the numbers. Korea Zinc is buying 19.6 million shares of TMC at $4.34 each. 5% stake in the company, making them one of TMC's largest shareholders overnight. And they're not done. They also got 3-year warrants for another 6.9 million shares. They could end up owning way more if this thing keeps running. Korea Zinc isn't some random investor throwing money around. These guys are the world's largest zinc smelter and major players in the stuff that goes into electric vehicle batteries. When they write a check this big for a deep-sea mining company, they're betting TMC will supply the metals they need for next-generation battery technology. Cobalt, nickel, copper, manganese, all sitting on the ocean floor waiting to be harvested. Back in April, President Trump signed an executive order that completely changed the game for deep-sea mining. For years, companies like TMC have been stuck in regulatory hell, waiting for international bureaucrats to figure out how to handle mining the ocean floor. Trump said, forget all that. We're fast-tracking deep-sea mining in U.S. and international waters because we're not letting China control all the critical minerals anymore. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration called this the next gold rush. They're not wrong. TMC became the first company to apply for a commercial license to mine the ocean floor after this executive order. They could become the first company in history to get a license to commercially mine the seabed in international waters. That's not just a business opportunity, that's potentially a monopoly position in a brand new industry. TMC's CEO Gerard Barron said investor interest after Trump's executive order has been phenomenal, described it as like night and day for the company. You've got a Trump administration actively trying to break China's stranglehold on critical minerals, and you've got a company that's already ahead of everyone else in actually getting permission to mine these materials. China controls way too much of the global supply chain for metals that go into electric vehicles and green technology. The Trump administration clearly sees deep-sea mining as a way to cut China out and create an American-controlled supply chain for these critical materials. TMC is positioned to be the primary beneficiary of this geopolitical shift. Deep-sea mining sounds like science fiction until you understand the economics. The ocean floor is covered with polymetallic nodules, basically rocks packed with the exact metals that electric vehicle batteries need. Cobalt, nickel, copper, manganese, all sitting there waiting to be collected. The advantage compared to traditional mining, you're not destroying mountains or displacing communities. You're literally just picking up rocks off the ocean floor. TMC has been developing the technology to do this at commercial scale, and now they've got both government backing and serious industrial partners willing to put real money behind the operation. Korea Zinc's investment is particularly smart because they're not just betting on TMC as a stock play, they need these materials for their own business. As the world's largest zinc smelter with major operations in battery materials, they have direct insight into where demand is heading. When they write an $85 million check, they're saying the supply chain for critical minerals is about to get completely disrupted. TMC is trading about 50% above its net asset value right now. Some people are pointing to this as a red flag, but the net asset value calculation doesn't account for the policy changes and the potential for TMC to become the first commercial deep-sea mining operation in history. When you're talking about a completely new industry with government backing and major industrial partnerships, traditional valuation metrics kind of become meaningless. Korea Zinc paid $4.34 per share for their stake. The stock has been trading higher, which tells you the market thinks this story is just getting started. And when you've got warrants for another 6.9 million shares, Korea Zinc clearly thinks this thing is going much higher. TMC is absolutely a Trump trade, and people don't fully appreciate what that means for the stock. The previous administration was basically hostile to any kind of mining operation, especially something as controversial as deep-sea mining. Now you've got an administration actively promoting American mineral independence and countering China's dominance. TMC's CEO thinks they could get approval for their mining license before the end of this year. If that happens, you're looking at a company that goes from being a speculative play to being the world's first commercial deep-sea mining operation. That's the kind of catalyst that sends stocks absolutely parabolic. Korea Zinc making this investment isn't just about the money, it's about validation. When the world's largest zinc smelter puts $85 million behind your technology and business model, that's a strong signal to other institutional investors that this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky mining story. Korea Zinc has relationships throughout the metals industry and deep expertise in the exact markets TMC is trying to supply. Their investment probably comes with technical support, market access, and credibility that money alone can't buy. This is the kind of strategic partnership that can accelerate a company's timeline by years. I'm bullish on this story, but the risks are obvious. The International Seabed Authority is saying the U.S. can't just ignore international law and start mining the ocean floor unilaterally. Environmental groups are raising concerns about ecological impact, and deep-sea mining at commercial scale is still technically challenging and unproven. But the regulatory uncertainty actually creates opportunity for early movers like TMC. If you wait until all the international bureaucrats agree on a framework, you're competing with every major mining company in the world. By moving first under U.S. policy protection, TMC could establish a position that's very difficult for competitors to challenge. This isn't investment advice, obviously, but you've got a company with first-mover advantage in a potentially massive new industry, government policy actively supporting their business model, a strategic investor with deep industry knowledge putting serious money behind the story, and a geopolitical backdrop where American mineral independence is becoming a national security priority. Korea Zinc's $85 million investment is just the beginning. When TMC gets their commercial mining license, when they start actually pulling metals off the ocean floor, when other companies realize they're years behind in this race, that's when this story really takes off. The timing couldn't be better, the backing couldn't be stronger, and the opportunity couldn't be bigger.